see really someone's facial expression. So
Yeah.
Right.
but no, thank y'all for being safe, man. Take care of y'all first for sure.
Yeah, we have to.
And the funny thing is we work every day together on the air without masks.
But hey, we have to look safe. We
Yes.
have to do our best.
Well, I'm by myself. So.
Well, we are live. We're hanging out with Parker McCollum. Thank you so much for being with us today.
No, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Parker, you are in Austin, Texas right now. You, like everybody else, quarantine, pandemic, but you've still been able to get out a little bit and just kind of do some outdoor stuff, right?
Yes, I just kind of been taking my time, I think, through all this and enjoying being home. So I've been going to the ranch a little bit and fishing a little bit, or a lot rather. And so I've tried to enjoy it.
And you, you know, when we first heard Pretty Heart and we started looking you up, and you've had kind of already a decent, you know, beginning career in Texas with the Texas music scene, but here you are now blowing up nationally on country radio, and your country roots are the real deal. I mean, you grew up on a ranch, you know how to throw hay and probably pull a calf out of a mama cow. I don't know. You're the real deal.
Well, you know, I think at one time I was doing a lot of that, especially when I was growing up. We kind of spent every summer of our lives, me, my brother, and cousins, working for my granddad at his ranches. So I've definitely put my time in out there. But and that's kind of what I meant by getting to go out there and work a little bit and kind of just enjoy life a little bit. That's been kind of a big part of it. So I wish I knew from a young age I wasn't going to be a real good cowboy. I like to sit around and play guitar more than I like to be out there working. At least I like to be out there running around.
Have you ever pulled a calf out of a mama cow or no?
We have delivered. I've gone through the bursts of quite a few cows. Yes, sir.
We sheathed a horse one time.
Yeah.
She didn't. Me and Pat did.
Yeah.
Y'all are on the right path then. That'll be good.
You were talking about playing country music at such a young age. How much of an influence has your brother been on you?
Tyler, my older brother, he's my only brother. He really kind of sparked whatever it is that's still burning to this day. So he's 6 years older than me. So when he was kind of playing guitar and writing songs, you know, I just wanted to do what Big Brother was doing. And so that's how I kind of started trying to do it. So I always try to give him his credit. And although he would never teach me anything back then, he made me learn it on my own. I always tried to, he was a big part of it, man.
Okay. And at a young age, you played basically all sports, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
At what point did you think, well, sports maybe is not my thing. I'm going to go do this country music and see if that works out?
I think when I was in high school and I quit high school football, and which was kind of like that was what I love. I still love football, but that was what I loved growing up really the most. And so I told my coach I was going to quit, and really just because, you know, I was okay at football, but I was a lot better than my friends at playing guitar and singing and writing songs. That was really the only thing that I was a lot better than them at. So I kind of knew pretty early on. I was like, we may have a better shot at this than we do playing ball.
Well, let's talk about your single, Pretty Heart. To me, it's my favorite song on country radio right now. It's literally the perfect song. You wrote it. Do you have high hopes of it going to #1? Because I do.
I do. You know, I didn't really. It's my first national single, so on like the big time radio. So I didn't really know, you know, what to look at or really to be watching it at all until it really started doing well. And management was like, hey, you might want to pay attention to this a little bit. And I've kind of been, every Monday I call my manager and I'm like, where's it at? Where's it at? But it's been a really cool experience, and it's kind of been a bright spot of this year since, you know, we haven't been on the road at all and everything that's going on. So I'm just really grateful. And yeah, I mean, of course I want it to go #1, but whether it does or it doesn't, I got to keep doing this. So.
Right.
That's a bright spot on country radio for sure. And am I to understand, you call yourself an overthinker. You can think your way in and out of things all the time.
Sure.
And to the point where you didn't think Pretty Heart was worth putting out?
You know, I'm weird when I write songs. I don't, you know, I'll spend a lot of time on something, and then when it's done, I just feel like I'm just like, man, we just missed the mark. And that's kind of how I felt with Pretty Heart. So it was actually when I went into the studio and started singing the song when we were cutting it, that I was like, man, I was wrong again. I've been wrong many times about my song. And so this was no different, man. And it's crazy to see how well it's doing.
Is it about someone specifically?
Yes. I mean, it's kind of just about really a time in my life when I think that was going on. But it was definitely inspired by a specific individual. Yes.
Got it.
Now, one of your heroes, one of the guys you really look up to, is George Strait.
Mm-hmm.
You got a chance to meet him.
I got to meet him last summer. I think I was a couple months after I'd signed my deal with Universal, and it was Loretta Lynn's 77th birthday party at Bridgestone Arena in Nashville. And I went with the label, and Brian and Stephanie Wright from the label and from Universal MCA, and there was all kinds of people. I mean, Jack White and Chris Stapleton and Garth Brooks are walking by, and I'm backstage. No, I'm just nobody. And Brian came over and he's like, "Hey, I've been telling George about you. He wants to meet you, and I'm going to take you over there and introduce him." And I don't like meeting people like that. You know, I mean, it's just I meet people all the time. I can't imagine what it's like on that level. And it's hard for there to be any kind of actual, meaningful interaction. And so I always just politely decline, but he would not take would not take no for an answer. And so I went over and he stood up and he said, "Hey, I hear you're doing really well, and keep it going," or whatever, and introduced his wife, Norma. I think I was so, it was like staring into a spotlight, basically. But it was really cool. I just remember standing there going, my mom's not going to believe this.
Is somebody like George the reason why authenticity is so important to you? I checked a couple of different interviews and that came up. That means like everything to you and to your music. I'm sure it plays a part in it. I wouldn't say I'm too aware of how big of a part it plays, but for me, really just I enjoy music that I believe and that I buy when I hear it. And that makes me feel something, songs that you can listen to for years and years and years, and so that's just kind of always been the motivation behind trying to write songs that could stand on their own. And it needs to be authentic to you. It needs to start with you. That authenticity needs to start with you.
Yes, sir. That is correct. That's a good way to put it.
Okay.
Congratulations on your EP, which just came out a couple weeks ago. We downloaded it immediately. Called Hollywood Gold. Where does the name Hollywood Gold come from?
My granddad had bought a horse named Hollywood Gold way back in the day, and it had gotten stolen, and he ended up finding it. It was this crazy story. My grandma and uncles and stuff, have told my whole life, and I was kind of getting a little pressure from the label on, hey, Parker, we need something to call this project, this EP. And I was actually home at the time, and I was talking to my grandma, and she was telling that story again, and I was like, I kept asking myself, how have I never talked about that horse or that story in any song I've never drawn any inspiration from that. I've heard it my whole life.
Oh, wow.
And so I was like, it just sounded so good. I was like, that is a great EP title, Hollywood Gold.
Have you ever heard of the show out here in California called California's Gold? It's California's Gold.
I have not. No, sir.
Do yourself a favor some night when you don't have anything else going on. Just YouTube that and enjoy your time in the rabbit hole. That's all we'll say about it.
Oh, I'm an internet rabbit hole. I go down them very often. That's California's Gold. I will
I got to tell you, Young Man's Blues is a great song. Is that a possible follow-up to Pretty Hard?
I think it could be in the running. I think there's one song. It's not on the EP. It was on the EP, and I took it off right at kind of at the last minute. And I won't say the name of it, but it's one that I very much believe in and that I really, really enjoy playing. And I think what I was trying to say at the time, it's one of my better efforts of getting what I was thinking down on paper of ever writing songs. And I think I'd be surprised if it wasn't the next single. So I hate to leave that so open-ended, but
still something.
So it sounds like you really believe in that song. Is there a reason it's not on the EP?
It was more of it being an EP. There was less room you kind of wanted to cover all your bases as far as songs that you have. You'd like one that's intimate and slow tempo, and maybe a couple bangers that are a little faster tempo, and then maybe a couple in the middle. And so it was kind of hard to pick from. And I wanted to save it. I was like, let's not, I'm bad about, I always want to put it out right away, and I have to make myself be patient and kind of take my time with it. So that one means a lot to me.
Now, Parker, have you ever heard of Parkour?
I have. In fact, people call me that often. I'm not sure why I don't do
Going
parkour.
away.
All right. Well, to kind of wrap the interview up, I'm going to give you some terms for parkour moves or not. So you just simply have to tell us whether or not this is a parkour move or not. So Parker McCollum on parkour.
Okay.
Parkour.
You ready? Parkour?
We researched this
parkour.
really well.
Parkour.
Parkour, like
Parkour.
hardcore.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's
Parkour.
actually French.
Parkour. Pimp flip.
Ooh.
Not.
It is.
What is that?
This is not going to go good.
I don't know. Palm spin.
Yes.
Yes.
That's
Palm
right.
pilot.
No.
Correct.
I remember this.
Russian front flip.
Yes.
Yes. Siberian ball buster.
No.
Bulgarian spleen splitter.
No.
It sounds like a Joe Dirt firework.
Right. Definitely sounds like something you'd make up.
Did he say no?
He said
Yeah, he
no.
said
Oh,
no.
you said no. Okay.
Okay.
Donut boy.
No.
Loser.
Yes.
Actually, Donut Boy was one too, and Loser is. And the last one,
Huh.
Kentucky window licker.
No.
Yes.
Really?
No, I'm kidding. It's not.
I was like, why don't you show us?
Where does that even come
Show
from?
us the move.
Maybe your next EP, you could title it that.
Oh, Lord.
That is so funny.
Oh, Parker, it was so
Hey.
good talking to you.
Honestly,
Parkour.
and we're not pulling anything here.
Mm-mm.
When we see that your song's coming up, right, and we get to play it, it's a really good thing. We'll look at each other and go, look,
Seriously.
Parker McCollum's song coming up.
I love it
It's
so
just-
much.
It's a highlight.
Honestly, we've been doing this for a long time, and there are certain songs that you hear that don't burn out. And,
Right.
especially in radio, you tend to play songs in hot rotation, whatever. That song does not burn out. It's just as fresh sounding
It's just
every
so
single time we play it. Your
beautiful.
vocal on it is just spot on.
So,
Wow. Well, thank y'all very much. That just made my whole day. I appreciate that. And thank y'all for putting up with me.
of course,
Absolutely.
anytime.
And we can't wait to hear your next single, whatever it is.
Yeah, that
one
we don't know yet. That's not on the EP.
I know. I wish I could say I'm so bad about it. I always just want to blurt it out, but I'm working on it, and I promise it'll be worth the wait.
Okay.
Perfect.
Parker, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Congratulations and continued success. Can't wait to get you out here some point.
Yeah.
So, thank y'all. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Bye.